Okay. Now call to order the September 4th meeting of Trails and Greenways Committee. If we could start with a roll call, please.
Anthony DiVincenzo,
Present.
Beth Dungisha, John Custer, Joe Falcone,
Present.
Mark Carr, present. Joe Kosciuszko, Evan Pappas,
Present.
Okay, can I please ask for a moment of silence? Over? Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance now. Pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. All right, first order of business then is consider approving the agenda for today. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
Move to approve.
All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Agenda is approved. No dissenting votes there. Okay, nobody in the public today, so no public comment. Moving on to number 6. Approving the minutes from the July meeting. We didn't have one in August. So this would be approving the minutes from the July 3rd. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
Move to approve.
All right, moved by Joe,
Second.
second by Beth. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the July 3rd meeting, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Fair enough. Evan abstains. No opposed. Motion passes to approve the minutes from July 3rd. That is a proper way of doing it. So. Okay, so now we're on to land development review. So why does this look different, Beth, than?
Because it's not broken down with all the different files that we were sent.
Okay, it just doesn't show it that way. Okay. So item number 7, land development review, 7.1, we have 0 Gradyville Road, the Village of Four Seasons. We've seen versions of this before, but I know in the one that Morris sent us, yeah, it had all of that, all the links. Can we pull that up on the screens? Please?
Yeah, which one would you like, Anthony?
Well, that's what I gotta figure out because I don't have it here or here, so.
I had one comment. I think there's something about like that one, the woodland management plan. Put a comment on that if you're ready for me to jump in on it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the email that Morris sent us, but I'll just have to pull off the agenda off the website. I'm trying to pull it up on my screen because it's hard to see, but. Beth, if you just want to start then.
Yeah, I think there might have been an error. I'm not sure. And just kind of being a little nitpicky, but just making sure. On the invasive plant species list that they have commonly found in Southeast PA, they list American elderberry, which is very much native and not considered invasive. I don't know if they also have white ash, which is native and not invasive, but I know there's emerald ash borer, so that's probably why they have it on there. I wasn't aware of anything affecting the elderberries that would make it worth putting on that list. And I double checked the ECNR list or IDNR list of invasive species. It's not listed on there either. Or even emerging invasive species. So I didn't know if the elderberry was just a mistake or if there was a reason for it to be on there. And that's my only comment that I have for that.
There was a discussion last night about invasive species from the landscape architect group. Simone I forget the name. but-
Simone Collins.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Simone Collins. So, yeah, I honestly don't know the answer.
And I
So-
mean, I pulled the shrubs, it's
Okay.
definitely not listed.
So you're saying, yeah, the only potential is the similar situation to white ash, where maybe there's something where it might be feeding an invasive species of bugs or something, and it's just decimating something.
But as far as I know, there's
Okay.
nothing, and I don't know, I didn't see any, beech trees listed on their inventory of trees, but there is a disease going through and taking out, well, eventually possibly killing beech trees, so that could kind of fall underneath the white ash category where they want to be proactive and replace those. But again, I didn't necessarily see it listed on their species list.
Yeah, I can speak with the township arborist and ask him that same question and get some feedback.
Thank
Mhm.
you. Like I said, not a huge deal, but it was one of those like, it's weird.
Odd that it would be there, yeah.
Yeah. Especially when it has American in the name. It's like, it's probably a good hint that it's native.
So George, normally this is the part where Mr. Neese is already read up on the development plan that Maura throws in here. But do you have any? Because I'm just, the first time I'm looking at it, so I haven't had the opportunity of, like, I knew it was coming up on the agenda, but I haven't had a chance to review the documents.
Yeah, so, and unfortunately, I'm not versed enough in land development to really
Okay.
be able to differentiate between what was done before and what is now. I mean, I did read the response letter, which kind of went through, you know, a lot of the items that were brought up to them, and which they responded to. The one that I noticed that was in the response letter, was that the township engineer did talk about trails and sidewalks at one point, and they acknowledged that they were going to continue to work with the township concerning that. So that was good that it was on there and acknowledged, but insofar as the other things, I can't speak to them.
Okay, I appreciate it.
So when I went through it, it is, you're right, it was acknowledged with and non-committal.
That sounds familiar.
But it was actually good that I saw that coming from the township engineer's comments as well. You know, not even just from the committee level, but from the engineer's comments about that. So it kind of gave it a double, you know, importance.
Okay. So it's yet another opportunity, though, in which we could make a comment on to reinforce, hey, agreeing with the township engineer's response, Trails and Greenways would expect that sidewalks be placed wherever possible, both within the neighborhood or in the properties, and then on the frontage along the main roads,
Mhm.
regardless as if they terminate at the end of the property and don't lead to anywhere, we still want them, period. And then I don't think, did this one have any opportunities for primitive trails along, did it?
Yeah,
It
we were
did,
talking
yes.
about, because along
can't
Hunter's
pull the
Run
damn
is a
thing up.
proposed one.
I'm having issues loading the
So,
drawing, sorry.
Along Hunter's Run, there's a proposed trail, and
Okay.
we were asking for possible street parking access. So people could park here
this-
and then get to the.
Yeah, is this, okay, I remember this now. This is the one here where we were talking about
Yep.
right there, because this property you wouldn't even see it.
Yeah, or this one here, and interestingly, this little
That
speck
sliver.
here has been designated as green space. So I don't know if that's in hopes that maybe one day.
Designated as green space by whom? The developer? 'Cause
Yes,
sometimes they
because
just put
there's-
that on there to meet minimum requirements. So that we
It could be too, but there's a
Okay.
couple specific spots, but that one spot was the spot that we were talking about for
Okay.
having maybe a little bump out for street parking, and it's listed as green space, so I don't know if it's sort of a hold, a save, or if it's just, no, we can't do anything with this, so we're gonna call it green space, on there.
That's what I was getting at. Sometimes the developers just will do that to make it sound good.
Yes.
But, okay, so the last time, Mark, that we had reviewed these and we had made those official recommendations, you had kind of gone through our crazy chaotic process, properly then itemized them, written them down. I don't know then, unless there's something that was a noted change from our perspective of trails, sidewalks, and green space, that we would change our comment. We would just probably, again, reinforce, hey,
So-
we've reviewed them. We're not seeing the things that we recommended previously on there. It says you're gonna work with the township on it. We'd again reinforce, these things are needed.
The items that were identified in the
Correct.
previous,
In the July meeting.
Correct.
yeah.
And
Okay.
I have another question, and this is coming from, I'm not educated enough, and so maybe the engineers in the room can help me out here. There's 2 stormwater basins that they have, and I don't necessarily remember seeing them on the map before. Maybe I wasn't paying attention to them, but there's
I don't
one,
remember them either.
one up here, very close to Hunter's Run. It has a 50-foot riparian buffer, which I'm assuming is the basic ordinance.
It is.
This is kind of the area where there is the potential for an endangered species. I don't know, is there concern if that overflows and you're getting oil and stuff, other street debris going into that basin? And now it's so close to Hunter's Run where Hunter's Run could possibly overflow, or it could overflow into Hunter's Run and cause a bigger environmental impact. Is there a way to do that better? I know the whole package there is tight. Do we want to recommend plantings or something to slow the flow of water? Or is there anything like from a non-engineering standpoint? I'm not sure if there's any other place it could be put that would make sense. Or is that really the option that they have and that's it? And I know, again, I am not educated enough to answer those questions, and I don't know if anyone else here is without knowing, and they may be meeting basic ordinances where it's kind of a moot point, but is there any type of recommendations that we can do as a Greenway to kind of help preserve that stream and that area?
I mean, the only other thing I could think of is there's a minimum requirement that they've got to meet for the stormwater calcs based on the impervious surface area and what's making it into each of these locations, right?
And is that
These are
based on
probably
current-
dry basins as well, so they wouldn't be ponds, they would be
Right.
dry basins
And
that
they fill
are,
up when it rains.
correct,
But
correct.
is it based, like, maybe George, you can answer this, like these,
They're based on a certain size storm.
yeah,
ultimately.
and given that our storms are getting bigger and heavier, is it appropriately sized for the changing climate?
Probably, it depends. It depends on, I don't know, honestly, the latest state
And especially given
or
that there's so
municipal
much.
code
slope
on that.
site.
Usually they're a little slow to respond unless you're in a major city, like the city of Philadelphia has already made significant changes, but boroughs, municipalities are typically a little slow on that kind of stuff. We wouldn't be able to really impose a change that
Right.
isn't meeting the law, but
Could we make any
But, well,
recommendations and
if,
stuff like
if you
that?
just look at the contour lines that are underneath of that.
Yeah,
And then you look at some of these other areas, the question is though, isn't this wetlands here?
yes, and I
Yeah.
believe that was wetlands too. So that's my concern because that's bog turtle-ish area and now we're.
That where it is, because the contours would not indicate wetlands there. The
And
ones
that's what I'm
underneath.
not, I know definitely like right up next to the road is, I don't know if this would be considered, I'm not familiar enough with the site to
Okay.
know, but it'd be kind of at least that transition zone. So it was one of those more curiosity. I didn't know if anyone had more experience with that site and where the wetlands kind of delineate and how this would be in relation to that. And then again, trying to mitigate any spillage into Hunter's Run and ultimately into Springton Lake Reservoir. Especially given that if it's storm runoff, you have the oil, you have the salt, you have all that stuff coming off the road that could really impact a stream.
The only
pretty
other
quickly.
thing that could potentially do, but I highly doubt is a requirement in this one would be to increase the the seepage rate. No, you don't want to increase the size because especially with the steep slopes, you would have an issue, but you can over dig the inside and then basically create a big underground portion underneath of the dry basin. That essentially would allow the water to penetrate through the granular material on top collect more volume, and then it filters through the ground. So if there are oil, surface runoff, stuff like that, technically you could get that at least being filtered to the soil as opposed to directly in the stream.
Yeah, but if you're 50
But-
feet from the stream, is there any soil there to make it, if it hits the water table, that it's not going to?
It depends,
Honestly, I think Aqua's gonna pick up.
Okay,
true,
okay.
I mean, that's drinking reservoir.
true.
Yeah, okay. It was, like I said, I don't know enough to know what I don't know, so I figured I'd just ask.
What I
and
can say is-
see what I can learn and go from
What
there.
I can say is it doesn't look like there's another place to put the
Right,
basin.
and this
They're
is
shoehorning
one,
it in
too.
there.
I mean, that one
Yeah.
could potentially be increased in size and the other one minimized, maybe, but I know they're probably trying to use. the natural slopes,
yeah, but there's, yeah, exactly, there's a crest in the neighborhood.
So you wouldn't be able
You
to-
would, you
yeah.
can't, you couldn't dump it all there. You also need reserves, so that would be a problem no matter what. And that would actually cause more disturbance of the ground because of how they would have to redo the site.
Okay,
So I don't think that would be an option. It doesn't look like there's an optimal change in where they're doing it necessarily. But yeah, I mean, Joe, you're right. I mean, they know that stuff better than we do, so they're gonna get their opportunity probably
Yeah,
to do a final review.
Especially if they. They're gonna do.
okay. Like I said, I just wanted to ask, so
Yeah.
thank you guys.
Yeah. Okay, so can we just piggyback off of the previous meeting
can-
and then the engineers, the township engineers comment, is it Pannoni right now? Okay, so we
Yes.
can do from the document, we could basically piggyback off that saying agreeing with, you know, what we had said in the previous meeting in July
Mhm.
and the township engineers' recommendations for sidewalks and a trail request along Hunter's Run, please refer to our more detailed explanation of this. I don't know, is there anything else from the
Potential for
group?
parking spaces.
Well, we
For
did
street
that.
parking.
We did that in the previous one. Same
Yeah.
thing.
just
I
think
know,
if
I'm
we're
sorry. Yeah,
reiterating
yeah,
it,
yeah.
Do we want to reiterate that?
Trails, sidewalks, and parking,
Like on-street parking? or
on-street
something like that?
parking. Please reference the recommendations made in our July 3rd meeting. Is there anything else, at least at the high level right now, that we also want to discuss or any other questions from our committee members? Nope. Okay, so Mark, do you need more specific language than we just came up with? Or we want to just, you want to read it back to us maybe?
I'm gonna read it back to you in a minute.
Perfect, thank you. While Mark's doing that, I could just mention as an aside, Evan and I were at the meeting last night about the comprehensive plan, which was interesting, trying to, you know, we had a couple initiatives, obviously, from this committee that are put forth in that. The official town map was highlighted pretty big. That's one of the most notable changes, because that was not in the comprehensive plan from 10 years ago. So that was in there. Some of the zoning stuff that Evan and Joe had gotten into was in there as well. So good stuff. And it just is kind of nice to see that some of the things we're working on are, you know, getting a little bit more follow-up support and comments. There were some questions from residents regarding all of those. So good. Trying to fill dead air time.
Well, and it's nice. I mean, Simone Collins knows Newtown.
Yeah.
You know, they've been here a couple times before,
Yeah.
so, you know, they didn't have to start from scratch with everything.
They're from my hometown. Norristown. That's where they're based out of. It was good.
I have a question about the Four Seasons plans.
Yep.
I don't see anywhere on here, maybe I'm just not seeing it, the emergency access connection between Newtown and Marple. They have on here. Between the two
Which
cul-de-sacs.
plan? You can
basically.
bring it up on the
So
screen.
this is,
Just the CU, the LD, or the,
this is the.
And can you
actually,
scroll
this
down
is
a
the,
couple sheets, please?
Traffic study.
this is from the traffic study?
Yeah, no, I think that you can see it there.
I
It's off of the cul-de-sac. Coming south off the
comes off
cul-de-sac.
Bellflower Lane.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, that's a brutal curve.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I guess my question is, that I know they have it set up for emergency access and not for general vehicle traffic. Do we know what how they're restricting traffic on that? Is there,
Bollards, something like that.
that's what I'm asking, is it, do we know?
I think it's usually bollards and chain.
Okay,
But does it actually show it? I don't know.
Okay.
typically that kind of thing is not really, I mean, at least in my experience, you'd see it on the permit drawing necessarily. Because I don't know though, to be honest, if that's an ordinance thing. Have to be, is there, like, Joe, to your, like, is it balls and chain that it's mandated? It has to be that way. I don't know.
The reason I'm asking is because I think it'd be, whatever that is, I think it'd be nice if, from a Trails and Greenways perspective, if they left some kind of way to make it easy for pedestrians from one neighborhood to the other to walk through there. I can step over a chain, but someone with a stroller can't.
Go down to Goshen Road, first right after the church there.
Yeah.
I forget what road that is.
Robbins, and that's the school access, and that's perfect.
That's the same, I think it's the same.
Yeah, if they do something like that, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, that's the one right next to
I
your
live
house.
there, my kids
basically.
walk there. I know it, yeah. I like,
That's just in case the fire department has to.
yeah, I know. So I guess I would just hope that this, whatever they do here, I would like to recommend that they do something similar to that. Because they have it set up with, I think, 3 bollards, there's a space. The pedestrians can go through without stepping over, there's a gate there instead of a chain, but it's the same idea. Pedestrians can just walk right through there. It's great if you've got like a stroller or something, like, an able-bodied adult can just step over a chain, whatever, but. Like to make sure that people can walk from one neighborhood to the other, you could have people that are friends, or whatever.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then, Mark,
That the emergent, I guess, let me phrase it this way,
Yeah.
I'd like to recommend that the emergency access include provisions for pedestrian access. Simple as that. I don't want to get into the details of how to do
yeah,
it.
exactly how you said that.
Yeah,
I think the homeowner,
I'm sure they would, yeah, I would.
they're paying for lakeside and for access.
All right, so for Mark, the way you just said it, can you just repeat that real quick so he can add that?
Sure. Recommend that the emergency access drive include provisions for pedestrian pass-through, let's say. Pass-through or access, however you
Access.
want to say.
And Mark, I don't know if you want to add the beginning of that, in addition to the recommendations made, we are adding this recommendation, just so it's clear that this was not covered in our previous one. I don't think we did, right? I don't remember this. one, so. And then Mark can read it back to us and,
This is an additional recommendation not previously stated.
Yep.
Reinforce all prior
hit the microphone. Thank you.
Reinforce all prior comments from our July 3rd meeting, including trails, sidewalks, parking, and agreement with the township engineer's comments in their June 24th, 2025 letter. In addition to prior comments, we are recommending emergency access drive include provisions for pedestrian access.
Everybody like it?
Perfect.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve exactly what Mark just transcribed for us?
Motion.
Second,
Motion by Alex, second, or Evan, sorry, thinking about your wife. Seconded by Joe. All those in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, none. Motion passes, and we'll make that recommendation on top of the stuff we did before. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so that's everything under land development. Moving on to new business, discussion and possible action on trail signage. So again, Beth, because we didn't have the meeting previously, wanted to get an update from you.
Actually, I think Evan had sent an email to the guy that we had talked with. You hooked him up with George. I don't know if you've heard it. Sorry. Evan had sent an email to the guy that we were talking with for the graphic designer, hooked him up with George. I haven't heard anything else since. I don't know if anything has moved forward, if you've heard from him at all or had any contact.
I think we initially heard and said, yeah, go, but I don't know that I've heard anything since then.
Want me to follow up with them?
If you could, because I think we left it as like, yes, move
Okay.
on, but
Okay,
We need.
I think
to-
did we ask him? Did we ask him to send you a formal proposal? Because all we had was just like emails back and
Thank
forth.
I think that's what we had
Yeah,
asked for.
did he never send you a formal proposal?
I will have to go back and look.
Okay,
That's what I was gonna ask, is like to formalize so that he has something in writing that says, yes, you are approved to spend on this scope of work, these dollars.
right,
Go
right.
ahead, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, though, that actual approval, when you get the proposal, that has to come from you or some authorized agent of the township, not us. We can't do that.
It'll be from me.
Okay.
And I mean, if I have it, and if that came in and we didn't sign it, it's just a question of signing it and getting it right back to him again. It's just, it would be odd that we didn't hear anything back if he sent it and then we didn't respond to it.
Yeah,
But I know that we were in dialogue at one point and then I just didn't hear anything. But
Okay,
I'll give him a call tomorrow.
that's great. And if that's something that we didn't follow up on, we could follow up on it within a day because it's already approved.
okay. Thank you. All right, so we have action moving forward on that. We're good. 8.2, trail walks and events. So haven't had a chance to talk with Terry. Obviously, we always have the Garrett Williams thing.
She was hoping to get here. She said she'd be here
Mhm.
around 6. I'm guessing she got caught up in traffic, so I
Okay.
don't know if we want to skip to the next one and
Yeah, we can go
come
on.
back to that, if that's okay.
Yeah, we can do that. No problem. Thank you. All right, 8.3, discussion public meeting, the new comprehensive and strategic plans. So that again was last night. There were 2 sessions. Apparently the first session was packed.
Yeah, they said like 60 people.
Yeah, apparently there's a lot of people. The second session that Evan and I went to was about 35,
Yeah.
somewhere around there, which is, still well attended. I think we were the youngest people there.
There was one other young guy in front of us to the left.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But no, it was good. I mean, Simone Collins, they have been here before. I think they've done one of these plans for us years
Yeah,
ago.
they had a completed Meadow Preserve master plan.
That's right. That's right. So they're kind of familiar with the initiatives. They know the township's problems, know some of the issues that the residents are concerned about, know some of the issues of just changing demographics in the town as well. Overall, it was really good. I mean, there was a couple of interesting moments with certain residents, which that I think always happens.
You were there when Nathan sounded off, right?
Yeah. So I met his wife actually when we were canvassing our neighborhood, which I now live in, to look to see if anyone was selling. And it's interesting. But it was overall good. I asked one very simple question to highlight both a negative and a positive was, would this comprehensive plan include a direct comparable analysis to the previous 10 years? So that we could see ones that overlap, like initiatives that were on the one 10 years ago, and they're still on this one. Why haven't they moved forward? If they have moved forward, where they are in the process, do we anticipate, like, to do a direct comparison there? And then also to show things that have been completed from the previous comprehensive plan, because there are some, even though, so it kind of highlights both the negative and the positive. It's like, there are definitely some initiatives that have not gotten the traction we wanted or gotten completed within that 10-year period. But actually then talk about why and try to figure out how to move forward. So we don't just keep doing this every 10 years and they keep getting copied and pasted, but then also give the township the credit where it's due and some of the things they have completed. So, I mean, personally, as a resident, I'd want to see that
Yeah.
and know that.
Everybody would.
Well, the one guy, Toby, mentioned, why are we doing another conservation plan? Well, the truth is you have to, it's the law or something, which I don't know if he worded that quite well for the group. It's like, because it made it sound like it wasn't actually as important as it is. But I don't know. So that was my comments. Evan, do you have anything you want to bring up from?
No, I think, just leave it at that. It was fine. It's interesting, that's all. You covered it well.
Terry, did you get to go to the earlier session of the comprehensive plan thing yesterday? Good. All right, we skipped, but I'm gonna give you some more time since you just sat down. We're gonna go to 8.4, the e-bike subcommittee, and then we'll go back when we're done that to potential trail walk stuff. So give you a little bit more time. And before we go into the 8.4, obviously, one of the things that was big that Joe had originally brought this up a while ago about the safety component associated with this. There has unfortunately been two very serious events in our surrounding communities regarding electric scooters and e-bikes. So it is important, and yeah, so Joe, Mark, I don't know if I don't think we have an update from the township, so if there's anything you'd like to bring up on.
Yeah, and I have to apologize. So I saw this on the agenda, but Steve was already away and I didn't have the opportunity to find out if there had been anything that had happened in the meantime.
So
So,
Survey Monkey was the thing, same thing that they did for the comprehensive plan. I actually went on in the meeting and did it. That was the thing that Steve needs to have been telling us about months ago, how we were gonna get out the actual questions related to the e-bike stuff. Really, we just want to know, like, it seems like the mechanism is now in place, the actual capability of doing it that way. And so we're kind of looking for like an ETA of when this particular questionnaire is going to be circulated in a similar fashion. But yeah,
and that's fair. And I will, as soon as he comes back next week, I will find out.
We should have a lot more emails now that some people are signing up from the town, from the comprehensive plans. And
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
the township should have a lot more emails,
Ah,
you know, from the comprehensive plan.
yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean, like people signing up and
Yeah.
everything, so more people to distribute it to. I forget, at the time of the meeting last night, the guy Toby was saying that up to that point, they had only like 200 people
Correct.
do the 2,000, something like that. So, yeah, I mean, try to do the best we can, get as much engagement as possible, but it would be nice. And I know this is sad, but to capitalize on the recent tragedies. If people do see that there is a questionnaire regarding e-bike type stuff, maybe that motivates them to actually get their voice heard because of the recent tragedies. So who knows, maybe we get a little bit more, but it would be nice to get more than that, just a couple hundred.
I think we also have to pay attention to see if the county, there was
I
much
thought-
talk about the county passing their own ordinance that would precede anything that we would do, potentially.
Actually, yeah. I mean, who knows? It could end up being a state issue eventually too, right?
I know if Montgomery County is an example of what may be coming, the Schuylkill River Trail goes through Montco, and there's been multiple accidents on there, and they are cracking down on, there's a speed limit for whatever bike you're riding on the trail, and they're cracking down on that. They've, I think, doubled or tripled their fines. I think it's like $300 now if you're going above the 15-mile-an-hour speed limit. So they are seeing issues, particularly with e-bikes and whatnot, and making changes because of that.
And a lot of it's already banned in the city because there's been a lot of accident incidents, but the problem is they don't enforce it. So
Yeah.
they're just not following up. When a close friend of mine actually almost lost his arm. It was not his own fault entirely, but he was illegally.
If you have these laws, but nobody's enforcing it,
Yeah.
what's the point of having the laws?
Yes,
so
city's
it's
a little
kind of
bit
a-
tougher, obviously,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, to your point, Mark, who knows, county might come in, something supersedes. Pay attention to it, but we should still not slow down on what we're doing. Yeah.
agree.
Oh, yeah, I know, I wasn't suggesting that you were saying. It's important. We don't want to see any more of this stuff, so. Okay. Terry? Ready to talk? Terry, if you would.
So the recording picks you up.
Okay.
Thank you. Terry
State your name,
McCarthy,
social security number.
firstborn, blood type. Terry McCarthy, 3510 Goshen Road. And we had a walk, which taught me something. Sundays are probably not the time, Sunday afternoon, evenings are not the time to hold walks. Even though the Quakers from Newtown Square had a meditative time after our walk. I think combine that with really bad weather just before our walk happened. We had some really neat people at the Kirkwood Preserve, but very few. So I would venture to say that that tells you something. You do it on Saturdays.
What
probably.
was the date you did it?
Gosh, that's a good question. I didn't have one in August,
This was July.
so it was July.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
August is tough. I mean, the summer tough in general. A lot of times people are,
Yeah,
lot
it
of
was
people
the
are
end of July and then everybody was away and I just thought, let's take a break because actually it was a little disillusioning, I guess, because there were 30 some people signed up and I think we got 6. So they were great people, but that's not really okay. So yeah, our next options are Saturday, the 20th or Saturday, the 27th. What do you guys think and where would you like the Meadows? Would you like Delco Woods? You have preferences?
Either one's fine. I'd like to, maybe not this one, but in the future, I would love to go walk the Penzi Trail in Havertown.
I don't know that. Pensy is different from the crack.
Yes, different.
Okay,
Yeah,
I don't know this one either.
it goes from the Y all the way back behind their township building.
The fairly new Y.
Yeah, there, yes. The-
I say
the Y
fairly
Needle
new, it's
Road.
probably
It's like
what,
10
like
years old. Yeah.
10 years old, but it looks brand new.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has a pedestrian bridge over, I forget, Manoa or something, and it goes.
Okay.
I'm up for that if you.
It's a good example of a similar trail to what we're hoping to
Yeah.
do the Pico Trail. That's why I'd like to
Okay,
do that one, but I'd like to reach out from someone at Havertown or Haverford Town.
Oh, yeah, Doug.
To help, to like maybe be our guide.
uh-huh.
I don't know anybody there. I don't know if you do, if not.
Yeah,
if you
the
do.
guy who's at the Friends of Havertown Trails is Doug Humes,
Yeah.
which is
Oh.
a really good friend of John's, and I know him okay, pretty well, so I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
reach out. Would you like to do that in September, the 20th or the 27th, or how's that for you?
I can do it as long as it's on the earlier side, yeah. Either day's fine.
The earlier side, like 9, 10?
Yeah, 9 would be great.
Okay,
I'm going to jump in. I'm sorry. Of course, I can't make either of them because work. But given that we now have somewhat of a new gravel parking area in the Meadows and we have the bollards up and like the goldenrod and the snake root and all that stuff should be coming into bloom about that time.
oh,
It may be more timely to do the Meadows and get that kind of like, hey, look, there's a gravel lot. You can drive up here and park here. Just be careful coming out and highlighting those things and then maybe saving that one for October.
Yeah, Pansy can be whenever. It's,
Yeah.
Okay.
okay.
No, that's a fair recommendation. That makes sense.
Yeah, we haven't done the Meadows in a long time.
Yes.
So that would be great. Can I ask George any advice about parking or anything like that for the folks?
Well, and there is a lot there now that has, room for 10 cars.
That's a
Other,
decent amount.
I mean, it's the start, it's that
That's
footprint that we
pretty
were
good.
looking.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, you can, some of the folks can certainly park at the Square Tavern and walk the Listener Trail to get to it.
Yeah. I'll ask Kathy Cavalier if she has any events planned, either of those dates, the 20th and 27th, because if she opens the tavern, then that's another added attraction.
I think they were gonna have an event on the 20th, I think, but
Okay,
you would want to check with her.
okay.
Old schedule around me, but I have a wedding on the 20th, so
You do?
yeah. So I
Okay.
cannot do the 20th, but
That's
27th I can. I don't know anybody else, but that's much more important if there is a adjoining event at the tavern. or something.
It always helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless
It
she'll
does.
open up the tavern special for
For
your
spe-
group, because we certainly wouldn't want to take all the parking over at the tavern if they were gonna have an event and now their folks that were gonna go can't park anywhere. We want to make sure that it's, reasonable.
Amenable to everybody, and that's earlier than she normally opens anyway. 9 AM. So I'll check with her and get back to everybody. And we'll either do the 20th or the 27th. Thank you.
And do you know when Fall Fest is this year?
Oh, yeah, October, I'm sorry, 18th.
18th?
And plus, I should mention that they also are going, they just announced today, there's going to be hay rides that you can book Friday night. So for like, I'm not pushing this, but for a group of people that would like to take their family out on a hay ride, October 17th in the evening, Garrett Williamson is what we're talking about, and they'll have, you know, all kinds of fun events on Saturday, but this is a really neat thing because you see the sun go down and it's beautiful.
My daughter would love that actually, so.
So that's cool.
That'd be
Okay, thank
And I'm
you.
assuming they're planning on doing the walks like they normally do for that.
On the
I mean, we
18th.
usually kind of,
I don't
finish
think
a
we'll
little bit.
do, I think we'll do one or two
okay,
because I lead them and also Alex and
yeah.
other folk, but there's just so much going on during Harvest Fest that people are distracted from that to go on a walk. However, what's interesting is tomorrow I have a chat with the new Assistant Director of Development about getting more walks over at Garrett Williamson and doing tours and things. So we could even have an ongoing, maybe monthly thing over there if we're all amenable. Any other? Thank you.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you, Terry.
All right, so that concludes new business on to old business. Update on we were just talking about the Meadows Reserve parking lot, so I don't know if we know about anything else as far as like the long-term plans of it.
Well, so what I'd say is once the materials finally came in, we were able to go install them. It took, you know, it was about 3 days worth of installation work on 252 there. So it satisfies the PennDOT permit. We've done the painting and the signage that they required there. That now creates the opportunity to do the next stages of it. So, you know, when Steve gets back, we can talk about what they, you know, what the game plan is with, you know, with the next stages of the parking area.
Do we think that this is something that the next stages do we know if it already has funding for 2026 to be completed?
I do not know that.
Okay.
I should say that I don't know anything that is in 2026 that definitely has funding.
Was it?
Because the budget, you know, the budget's in process now.
Yeah, that's true. It's what, October normally that they finalize that and that they vote on it?
Usually in November, they vote on it.
November?
They start advertising it in October.
Maybe
Normally,
that's what it is. They ask everybody for their stuff in October, so that's.
Yeah.
Because you guys are on the calendar year rather than the
correct.
fiscal year. stuff.
Yeah, we're on a calendar year.
Okay, thank you. You know, old business again, just reviewing, I keep that in there, obviously. You know, the comprehensive plan and the biggest development is the official town map, I think is gonna be huge in this upcoming year. So really, really happy that that's moving forward. I don't know when the next planning commission that it gets one more time and then gets voted on. I think Mr. Neese was saying that we were potentially in November gonna have the supervisors actually voting on that. I believe was the last time I heard, but we'd have to confirm with him. But yeah. Nothing really big there. Is there any additional business that needs to be added, discussed by our committee members right now, or that we can add into these notes that I can make sure they're in the agenda next week? Or I'm sorry, next month.
Yeah, a couple things.
Mhm.
We were talking about the e-bikes, I guess kind of sparked an idea. Can we work with the police department to identify locations where there have been crashes involving, you know, pedestrians and bikes? So help us identify maybe a couple locations that we could make recommendations for improvements. That's something that
I don't see
we
why
could
not.
do.
I mean, I don't know
How
what
would
the
we go
township
about
does
that?
as far as documentation of like the metrics and like, do they track that stuff? But it's definitely worth the question. I don't know.
I mean,
And some
If
of
they're
the-
on PennDOT roads, that's the other thing. If they're on PennDOT roads, they definitely have that information. But getting to the right person would probably still go through.
It would still be the police department
Police
because
department,
they would
they
have
respond.
any police reports,
Yeah.
and
local road or state road.
Trying to make changes on PennDOT roads, even like getting signs or a flashy light or something like that, you typically have to go through PennDOT rather than the township, which can be process,
Sure. It would be the township that would petition
Yeah.
PennDOT, so,
not just us.
yeah.
Okay. So this is normally what I ask Mr. Neese, but who do we contact? How do we contact? Is there a liaison that the committees have or any other township representatives with the police department? Because I don't know if we're going to.
I will actually ask the question tomorrow.
Great, okay. Thank you.
Something else.
All right, so Evan, I'm gonna try and make sure then that I'm gonna put this in my notes so that for the agenda for next month, I'll put it on there. When I send that in tomorrow, then that'll at least prompt the township if they haven't heard anything to maybe follow up. Hopefully we can get an update by George or Mr. Neese at next month's meeting. Then, great deal.
And then, I'd like help from, I don't know, maybe one or two other people from the committee. I'd like to update the Trails and Greenways map with sections that have been completed. I can do the graphics, but just want to make sure I don't screw it up. So I mean, who's confident that they know all the updates that have happened?
Probably John is probably the only one that actually knows, right?
Yeah.
Think.
I mean, I can do.
I had something basically similar to that. Kathy Cavalier made a suggestion that possibly in the future, we could have a trifold of existing trails and roadways and bikes. And we could hand it out, because right now there is nothing unless somebody, downloads it.
Okay.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that may be something, sorry, George, I don't mean to throw more stuff on your plate, but you have a good idea of like where the sidewalks have been put in and where bike lanes have been put in and all that, like, as opposed to us, like, I believe there's one here, I've seen one here. You may be more of an official source of info to at least kind of check some of those boxes. I'm happy to help where I can, but.
Kathy came up with that on Tuesday, the start meeting. That
I'd
possibly
actually-
hand those out to people.
I'd
if we
actually
get more
done
traffic.
something like this years ago, but more for the open space. So I took our main document that was created by Gilmore and Associates and the maps. But I'm trying to remember if I had made any trail updates because most of my focus was on the amount of green spaces that they identified as threatened. That
Do the map.
then were getting developed, and I can't remember if I covered the trails, but I can look at my records and see, because I know I did it for the green spaces, and there was those two maps, the trails maps and the green spaces.
Right.
And I don't know if I updated that, but I'll at least look for what I have. I agree, George probably knows. He can
Yeah,
probably
I
look at
mean-
it in 2 seconds and mark up, this one was done.
We can absolutely do that, yeah. Because and there's even some areas, like there's sidewalks that are going to be going in that we'll be able to identify.
Wait, where am I?
Right here.
That way, this one,
No, go.
that one.
Well,
Well, no, but the Ellis, that was done, that was marked on our map a while ago, that was
Yeah.
done most recently,
Mhm.
that was done as well.
Well, and this is going to be done. This is close to getting ready to be done. Continuing the sidewalk up on,
Yeah, but
Apollo
10
here.
years ago, when that plan was created, even this portion, I don't think was done, correct?
there were holes in it.
There were holes in it,
Yeah.
okay. All right,
Made it interesting walking.
I mean,
into now.
George, if it's easy, I mean, could we like stop by one day and we just mark up the plan and then I'll. do the
Absolutely,
graphics?
yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll email you, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
good suggestion.
And the last thing I have is kind of piggybacking on what Joe said about having some kind of handouts. I went to a meeting recently where they had business cards that had a QR code that took you to their website. Would it be a good idea to have maybe not a lot of them, to print out like some Trails and Greenways cards, so we have, when we're talking to people that are interested, we can have a, we can put a QR code on it that takes them either to the Trails and Greenways plan, or maybe takes them to the meeting schedule, so they can.
The
you know,
QR code exists already because we have it on that big banner from when we did like the circle, the meetup in the circle or whatever it's called.
Creating the
But
code is
put
not-
that, no, I know that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, but we already have that, so it'd literally just be taking that and putting it on like you said, it's something to have on to.
Do you guys see any value in that or is not really?
So that, let's think about the most interactions that we have with the public in which you would engage in those conversations when we do the trail walks or at the events, right? Yeah,
So, one of the best attended recent ones was the one with the EAC. And it started here and it did the gardens. And that was supported by the township's website. And if we want to be strategic, we should plan out, 6 months of these, so they could load them there. So you can have a QR code, go to the website, go to whatever, if you wanted to go to the meetup or other venues. But we don't plan that far ahead and I'm not, I'm happy to work with everybody to get those dates arranged, but I haven't ever done that, so. It was great, that walk.
Would there be any, so we have a banner, right? Like,
Not anymore.
Oh, we don't, not anymore. Okay.
what happened to it?
Lost it.
no, okay, then never mind.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to bring it up. I'm sorry.
Well, then I never mind.
I'm sorry. Okay. Bless you.
Bless you.
All right, so go back to your original question. Business cards with the QR code. Can we get business cards for the committee members? I don't even know.
It's like a handout that would
Yeah.
have, just like pointing them to your website or
Yeah,
to your
Trails and
webpage.
Greenways Committee, it has the township, little seal banner on it and says, hey, and then it's got the QR code. Go
I think
here
that's reasonable.
for-
I mean,
Go here for information on the initiative.
I think we could get a reasonable number and see if it, draws attention and.
Yeah, like a small amount,
Traffic.
we take like 10
Yeah.
each maybe and. see if
Yeah.
It's,
Well, the nice thing about the QR codes, because I have them on my professional business cards, and the nice thing is when you get near in these conferences and you usually go with a stack, you get down to your last one, you don't want to give it away. They literally don't have to. You could just, hey, take a picture of this right now, and then it gets you all the information. So you don't need many.
And a lot of people don't want stuff, so they'd
Correct.
be happier to just scan it,
Correct.
save it, and then move on.
Yeah, yeah, agree completely. Okay, and then this is good timing because typically Mr. Neese in our October meeting is asking for our budget request for the following year. So this can be something that we can simply put in for next agenda. And Mr. Carr, when we do our, something to vote on, we can actually make an action of it.
Sure.
Vote to put it in next month's meeting. That way, Mr. Neese has it official from us in writing that this is something we want for our budget. It's not a big number.
No.
To do business cards, so that's an easy, low-hanging fruit, and it can help with the public engagement.
A potential alternative, the H-frame like realtor signs. Get it printed up on that, and then like if the tavern, the Square Tavern or the Paper Mill has an event, say like, hey, can we put this sign there, even if we're not there? It's still a township building, typically, not always, but township kind of supported event, and then like it's more static. I know having those conversations are great, but we could potentially hit more people with something like that, where like, oh, there's a thing at Circle at Sundown, we could just put that out for that event and take it back. We could have it on a table if we're staffing a table, if we're not necessarily at working event or have a trail thing going on. If we have a trail thing going on, we can have it where we meet and then pick it up at the end. I know there's rules about leaving it out in the township. Is that gonna get squishy?
I mean, if it's event-based, if it's going up for an event, that's
Yeah.
one thing. If they're just getting put around, that's.
Yeah.
We're having a real challenge right now because we're trying to prevent contractors from just putting them all over the place. But then there are, township entities or very good nonprofit entities putting them up, and we need to take those down too,
You gotta be
because
consistent with the rules.
you
Yeah,
need to be,
understood.
you need to be fair at that point. But like I'm having a challenge right now because like the farmer's market has some signs up where they shouldn't probably be up all the time, or the scouts will put something up and I'm like. So event-based is not problematic. It's more if it goes out.
And those signs are relatively cheap too.
You enjoy playing the villain, don't you, sir?
I seem to be good at it.
But no, one, we could get another banner, and that's one thing for the events is simply hang the banner at every event, and then you take it down every time. Because we've done that before. It has a QR code on there. The running place, I bet you if we asked them, if we just had the QR code and a thing, Trails and Greenways, probably put it in their storefront window. That's
Yeah.
another thing. There's a lot of people that we've gotten from the trail walks that are parts of like the running groups and stuff like that. And they've been good advocates of us in the past. So that's another way of potentially reaching a larger audience with that QR code that pushes into the right place. And then the map could be front and center the first thing or one of the clear links, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
Kathy,
right now you got to go through the whole report.
yeah, Kathy was out on her bike and she's like, do I have to stop here? Is this part of the trail or is it not?
Ocean?
Well, yeah, she went on the sidewalk and listened to her.
Hmm.
And she's like, where do I stop here? She wasn't sure. She didn't want to go on somebody's property.
Hmm. Okay, all right, so at the bare minimum, we got stuff to get on next meeting's agenda then. We'll have potentially some updates from the township on a few of these items and some good recommendations, and they'll get put into our budget requests. Is there anything else that people want to make sure get on the next month's agenda?
I'm just gonna throw out, because we know they're gonna be asking us what we want for budget requests, if, kind of start thinking about that, if there's anything else we want.
Yeah,
to have them
yeah,
make a stand
if there is
issue.
anything else,
You know,
obviously, we've talked
She
about the
wasn't
trail
sure how far to
signage, that,
go.
you're kind of working with, going to get the proposal. The official proposal, now we're talking about business cards, we want to get another banner made, that's $100.
The sidewalk there,
Anything,
right. right,
Terry?
right.
I just wanted
She
to
was
mention
wanting
that the library is planning a
I
5K
know.
for next spring,
Know if that was
April, I
private
think. They
road.
don't have the date
Because it
established
says
yet.
private road,
but,
it's a street.
I think that's something we could support too.
Sure.
They're gonna start like here and then go up into the corporate center over Boyron, and then I'm not sure the actual trail, but that might be something on our radar for April. To also have banners and support them with any means possible.
5K, the easy ones, we get water and stuff like that, water coolers and have the banners and something, but yeah, that's good. Anything else, guys? Okay, so that, yeah, I mean, additional business, then that's also roping into board comment, which we just kind of solicited, so I'm assuming no one else has any more board comments. Good, all right, public comment we just got from Terry. Terry, anything else? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, no opposed.